Good morning, everyone. Welcome. My name is Menachem Creditor. It's my honor to serve as scholar in residence and rabbi for UJA Federation of New York. We bring you Torah and music, blessing, and community every weekday. We've been doing so since March 18th, 2020. Today is Monday, April 1st, 2024. It is day 178 since Hamas attacked Israel. And we have come together now for over 4 years, but these last 178 days have been quite intense. It is broadcast 1,936, I believe. It is an incredible thing to have come together with friends like Cheryl and Linda, Anya, Dale, and Sunday, and Lydia, and Penny. Good to see you. Arlene and Jonathan, Boker Tov. Hope everyone is safe and well. Debbie and Barry and Fabrice, Jacqueline and Chana, Adrian, good morning. I hope you're all well, friends. Let's take a breath. Let's learn some Torah. So good morning, everybody. Here's your chance to take that one breath before we begin a day of blessing. One correction is broadcast 1025. You know, the way that we count, it's so interesting. Let's just remember that we can find each other every weekday. It happens to be broadcast 1025, but at this point, we just need to see each other. What a blessing that is. It is so good to be able to celebrate friends. So Sandy, mazel tov to you and Steve on a grandchild being born. Mazel tov, mazel tov, mazel tov. And Barbara, you're sharing today, it's your father's yurtzeit, and his name was Bernie. He was a wonderful man. May his memory be blessed. We are holding all of this. The memory, the mazel tov, all of it is being held right here by a community that spans the entire world. How beautiful it has been to be part of this learning group, this regular morning minyan, this group of kind souls, sweet friends, every single day. There is so much happening, but let's begin with Torah. We are racing towards Pesach, but please God, things should change between now and then so that we can have our family whole once more. There is some renewed effort in the negotiations to free the hostages. There is incredible energy on the streets of Israel. Similar, it feels, though more intense, similar to the convening and the protest movement before October 7th. Families of hostages and missing people and soldiers have now joined with an incredible protest movement that is demanding change in the government of Israel. That is for them to do and for us to love them and to see the struggle that they are waging. And I want to point out that the flag that is always in the background of the broadcasts is a flag that I got during the protest movement in Israel, where I was sitting outside of the Supreme Court the day of its decision, the day of the Knesset decision to gut the Supreme Court. And then I carried this flag with me to Washington, D.C. to stand with our people in the aftermath of October 7th. This flag is a symbol of our hope. The flag is a symbol of our history. If you don't know, the flag is actually designed after a talus. The stripes down the sides are traditional, at least in many designs, in the way a talus has been made. And so when you see the flag, you should understand that is a symbol of the Jewish people in moments of devotion and cohesion. We say in the meditation before we put on the talit in the morning, Ote or kesalma, God wears light as if it is a garment. So when we put on that garment, that talus, when we drape the flag around us as well, we should feel ourselves surrounded by light. So let's do that. Let's make sure that when we see that flag, we feel the lightness of our history, not only the heaviness of the moment. Now, this week's Parsha, Parshat Shemini, is a hard one. It's a hard one. And so what I want to do is share part of the story, the Shemini story, and then a comment. So for those who don't know, Parshat Shemini, it literally means the eighth day. The eighth day after the dedication of the Mishkan, the portable tabernacle in the desert. And we have worked very hard to build this Mishkan, giving all of our most precious materials, wielding with ourselves the scars and the wounds of having made terrible mistakes when it came to the golden calf. We are trying. And we're doing so because God said, Vasuli mikdash v'shachanti b'tocha, make me a holy place and I will dwell among you. Well, we finally built it. And on the eighth day of the Mishkan being completed, there was a dedication ceremony. And as part of the dedication ceremony, certain sacrifices were offered, animals and then incense. And Parshat Shemini tells us that two children of Aaron, the high priest, Nadav and Avihu, are overwhelmed by something. And it's a strange something. We don't quite know what led them to do what they did, but they took their incense fire pans and they offered an offering called an Eish Zara, a strange fire, one that they were not commanded to bring. When they do that, the same language that describes God accepting the sacrifice, Vateitze'esh milifnei Adonai, a fire shut out from before God, so too does it say that when it comes to Nadav and Avihu. They offer a sacrifice that was not commanded, described as an Eish Zara, a strange fire, and they are devoured by fire themselves that shoots out from before God, just as the fire devours the sacrifices. And anyone with a heart, when they read this text, struggles, especially parents, but really anybody. What does a fire from God mean if that's what it does? What could they have done that was so wrong? Didn't they offer an additional sacrifice, even if that was a mistake? Isn't this punishment incommensurate? There are many, many ways that we have struggled with this text. And so what I want to share with you is not necessarily an answer to the question, and it maybe only makes things harder. But among the things that are strange about Parshat Shemini is Aaron's response to the death of his sons. Nadav and Avihu die after bringing the strange fire. The fire then shoots out from before God. And the text says, Vayidom Aharon. Aaron was silent. No one has understood what that silence means, what it contains. Some suggest that he screamed and then was silent. Some say that he was just struck mute. He just couldn't speak. He was overwhelmed. He was in trauma. There are any number of ways. There are even suggestions that he accepted the ruling, which is gross. It's just gross. To suggest that Aaron's silence was acquiescence to the death of his children. We do not remain silent when our children are threatened. And while, Rosa, as you said, grief can silence us, yes. That can't be a way of understanding what Aaron witnesses. It's just too much. And of course, this is, the outsider to the text, the commentator, responding to it. And so often what you learn most from a comment is about the commentator, not the original text that they're looking at. But what I want to share with you is that there is a beautiful, beautiful short book by Rabbi Joseph Soloveitchik, among the great rabbis of the 20th century. The title is taken from Song of Songs, Kol Dodi Dofek, Hark, the voice of the beloved is knocking. And he was incredibly eloquent and beautiful in his description of Zionism and the birth of the state of Israel as a manifestation of God knocking on heaven's window. That if you could just hear, don't you hear? And he was specifically teaching the American Orthodox Jewish community because they needed some convincing, as did many, that Zionism had religious content, that God was involved in the rebirth of our people in our homeland. And he says in the middle of this talk that Jewish law teaches that an afflicted person commits a criminal act if he allows his pain to go for naught and to remain without meaning or purpose. I want to say that one more time. Halakha, Jewish law, teaches that an afflicted person commits a criminal act if he allows his pain to go for naught and to remain without meaning or purpose. Now, I'm not really judging Aaron. I'm really not. I'm not in his shoes, thank God. I didn't bear his responsibility. But I want to hear Rabbi Soloveitchik's comment in the context of our Parsha. Remember, our Parsha includes the death of Nadav and Avihu. And what Rabbi Soloveitchik says, maybe not in direct response, but in a related idea, is that it would be criminal to remain silent and to not create meaning in the aftermath of loss. October 7th will remain in the Jewish psyche until the end of time. Certainly, those of us alive and paying attention today will carry this in us for the rest of our lives. The question is, what do we do with it? What do we do with it? Not do we accept it? Of course not. And certainly we will not remain silent. When images of our children who are murdered are awarded international prizes for photojournalism, we will not remain silent. We will reclaim the beauty of their lives and not allow a vision of their degradation to become a spectacle across the world. For those of us who might not know what I'm talking about, I encourage you to do a little bit of research. We will share the beauty of our children and not allow what someone else does to us to be celebrated in any way. We will not remain silent. Aaron's silence will remain strange to us. His silence is as strange as the fire that his sons brought. His silence itself is a dmama zara, a strange silence. We are called, friends, to get very loud and to remain loud because it would be criminal not to. In the aftermath of October 7th, we are called to call out, to continue to show up and to not get tired, because how dare we think that any exhaustion that we feel can compare to the exhaustion of those who are going through it directly, whose faces we have not seen for 178 days. We are one family, and we are going to be as loud for the voices that are not being heard right now. So, Caroline is suggesting that people go to change.org and search for the word Nikon to petition against the award. I encourage all of you to do that. I also encourage you to think in advance of what this year's Pesach will feel like. There are many, many additional resources that are being created for all of us so that our Seders can reflect our reality and still be Seders. You have time. You have 3 weeks, friends. Please God, may history change and may our family be whole before Pesach comes. But we still have this Parsha as a cautionary tale, as a reminder of what silence sounds like. And we have Pesach, which is a beautiful reminder that a trajectory of freedom can take thousands of years. So I bless you. I bless you in this very heavy moment with a heavy Parsha ahead, that you should feel light. You should feel light from within. You should feel strength. So, we've got work to do. I bless you to feel strong and full of light as you do that work, because silence is not an option. Never really was, but it certainly isn't now. Let's sing, friends. If you can see the flag on the screen, great. If not, maybe there's one nearby. And maybe you just put your hand on your heart, knowing that it is connected to all of our family all over the world. Kolon baleva penima nefesh Yehudi homia ulefate mizrach kadima ayin letzion Sophia Od lo avda tikvatenu Hatikva bat shnot alpayim Liot am chovshi be'atzenu Eretz Zion v'Yerushalayim Liot am chovshi be'atzenu Eretz Zion v'Yerushalayim. Bring them home now. Am Yisrael Chai. See you tomorrow, friends. Take care.